From doing the usual tedious heists to getting hired for VIP work, join me in this video as we take a look at some of the best money methods in GTA right now. If you played any of the games of the whole GTA franchise, then you should already know that earning cash, or even stealing cash, is the main feature of the game. However, in GTA Online, once you have already grinded out all the RP and have unlocked everything there is to unlock by level 120, then the only other resource you'll be needing to farm would be cash. As an avid player of GTA Online, you need to be aware that as the game is continuously expanding with all sorts of DLCs, the money-earning methods might also be affected. Though you might not be seeing those changes now, they are bound to show up sometime in the future as the game progresses. We'd also like to add that there was also a time when the frequent updates actually had subsequential and lucrative new content. But despite those updates and new content, almost a year had already passed now. But the top activities for earning cash haven't really fluctuated throughout that time frame. It's good to mind that new DLCs will always bring new content, as well as the potential for new money-earning methods. However, we have noticed that the GTA Online community, no matter what the new content is all about, only do grinds that are the most efficient and effective at the time. This explains why the top activities didn't change too much, since their GTA cash-to-hour ratio had remained superior compared to the newer updates. In the first method we'd like to talk about, wouldn't exactly shock you if you're familiar with the game. Heists have always been and might always be the most efficient money-earning method to have ever existed in the game. And why is that? This might shock you, but simply put, the potential hourly profit of playing Heist is a whopping $400,000. Yeah, you heard that right. And unless you proactively play Heist, people aren't actually aware of this. Which is why most of the people who play Heist are considered to be the most hardcore and quote-unquote religious when it comes to money earning. As long as you have 3 friends and one among you has a high-end apartment, then you should be able to play Heist. Oh, and we'd like to add that the Pacific Standard Heist is the golden standard when it comes to farming money. And yes, that pun was indeed on purpose. Despite being the most rewarding method, however, you still need to make sure that you and all your other friends have a high enough skill level. The reason for this is simple. Having enough skill and experience is required to make your heist runs be as efficient and quick as possible. Being able to successfully and subsequently finish heists is what's going to boost your cash earning ability. However, you don't have to be perfect. If you're new to the game, or if you aren't all too experienced with a new game mode, then I suggest that you keep doing it over and over until you get the hang of it. Not everyone is great at the game from the start, which is why practice and repetition is important, especially when it comes to earning money. It's also worth mentioning that the Doomsday heists are also a great option if there are only 2 or 3 of you playing. But you need to keep in mind that there is a slight disadvantage with the Doomsday heists. The reason for this disadvantage is that they require a higher initial cost, since you'll have to buy a much more expensive facility to start the Doomsday heists. If you aren't a fan of the whole heist game mode, however, then this next method just might be the one for you. Despite not having the same potential profits as the $400,000 heist, you still get a fair potential. That's $300,000 if you successfully finish a run on special and vehicle cargo. Just like Heist, cargo also requires you to have an official building, as well as warehouses for your special cargo or vehicle cargo. Cargo mode requires you to pay a form of initial cost, which means that you are also going to have a factor in the payment every time you have a run. But that doesn't matter too much, since you'll be earning back the money anyway, as long as you don't fail, which is basically impossible. For vehicle cargo specifically, you're going to need to source all sorts of vehicles. Why? Well, the game mode is called Special and Vehicle Cargo, so how can you sell or move any vehicle if you don't have any? So what exactly do you need for your vehicle warehouse? First, you need to choose 10 unique vehicles for your warehouse. Whether they're standard or mid-range cars, it's all up to you as long as there are no duplicates. You could always have duplicates of cars, but why would you do that if it could take your potential profit down a couple notches? So why exactly do you need to have unique cars? Well, it's simply because there's a feature in the game mode where if you sell completely unique cars, then every source mission that you do after that will result in a top-range car. Once you've established that, you should then continually export a top-range car all the while sourcing another new one for export. Being always prepared is key, since you have to consider the timer. Once your initial export is finished, then you should try your best to export as many as you can while you still have the time. We'd like to add that exporting cars and doing heists are 2 very different grind styles. So which of these should you consider doing? Well, it all depends on your playstyle in the first place. Both heist and cargo game modes are the main 2 methods that players abuse. However, there really isn't a clear answer as to which method is better, other than the fact that heists have a higher profit potential, but that simply doesn't mean that it's overall a better experience. Now, that might seem like I'm pulling your leg a bit, especially considering that it's getting a bit complicated now. What we're trying to say is that you have to factor in your own enjoyment of the game as well as your preferences. Not everyone enjoys doing heists, and not everyone enjoys doing cargo. So what matters the most as of now is if you're still enjoying the game or not. Remember, the best method in doing any sorts of grind is to enjoy that game. That way, the grind wouldn't even feel like a grind at all and wouldn't be any bit mentally taxing. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that heists are easier to do since they pack all the action and high-octane gameplay? Or do you think you'd rather spend time curating the best cars for your exporting business? Sound off in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for future uploads. This has been Gameatology.